Hello guys, welcome back to the Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 NA% tutorial. My name is Zojix. I'm just finishing up this little autoscorer thing while I am finally getting back into recording this. I apologize that this took me so long, but we're here now. We are going to be covering the Western Arc today. So, the Western Arc is one of the most technically difficult levels in the run. If you're just starting out, I recommend spending a good chunk of time practicing this level because there are a lot of things that you have to take into account when you are doing this level. There's a lot of damage boosting, as well as there is a really big skip right before the boss fight. I recommend definitely practicing this level a bunch, but the route itself is easy to understand. The execution part is a little bit more difficult. So I'll kind of go through everything, hopefully trying to be mostly helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. There will be a link to the Discord in the description below. You can ask in the Force Unleashed 2 general section. And so we're going to jump right into it. Immediately when you spawn into the level, you want to jump over here. There's this EXP holocron here. That we want to grab, because once we grab this, we're going to go over into our powers and we're going to upgrade Saber Throw. It's going to be super, super important for the next level that we have Saber Throw at Tier 2. Ignore the amount of points that I have. For some reason, it didn't carry me over to the next level when I set that up, when I was doing this file. Anyway, so you want to upgrade Saber Throw. That's the ability that we're going to be upgrading. And we're going to keep going. Again, focusing very much on your dash cancels, making sure to maximize them. We're just going to do some more damage boosts around here. And the one thing to note with damage boosts, you'll see in my world record attempts and stuff that I am doing very, very little damage boosts. That's because I have gotten pretty good at maximizing the amount of distance that I take in between damage boosts. Just starting off, do as many as you need to get around. And if for some reason you're struggling with it, it's not that much of a time loss to ignore the damage boosts. So if you need to ignore the damage boosts, ignore the damage boosts. Otherwise, do as many as you need. Don't try to maximize, like, I'm going to do only one damage boost on this particular shield. Because if you're not as comfortable with the jump resets and everything, you'll find yourself dying and losing more time than you will saving time by doing them. That's my own personal recommendation. Obviously, do what you're most comfortable with, but that's my recommendation. Coming up now, we're going to be doing this pretty big damage boost here. There are these snipers over there, and we are going to be damage boosting to get from here to there. So I'm just going to wait for them to shoot. Because the way that these work is you want to come up to right about here, past this first pylon. You want to jump, dash, and blast, do 2 slashes and lightning. That'll suspend you up in the air. And then you're right there, and you can skip having to go all the way around. Saves a lot of time there. And that was some awkward movement. We're going to jump around here. And we're going to damage boost again. Again, using dash and blast is super helpful. This is a holocron that's free. You have to wait for the ship to circle across. So just grab that holocron. Alright, so we've got another massive skip coming up. Pay attention to the input viewer. This is the whole reason why skips and stuff are the whole reason why I have the input display on screen. I run with a DualSense, so that's what I'm using. If you're running with an Xbox controller, adjust as you see fit, obviously. So, this is bridge skip. I'm going to be showing a few different variants on how this works. So, I'll be recording. This would be kind of split between 2 separate videos of tutorials and stuff. The first one I'm going to show is going to be the harder and also slower version, because you can apply it to every single one and go with that. And then I'm going to show the faster version and also what I believe to be the easier version. So we're going to enter this. We're going to let this cutscene play. And then I'm going to kill these guys just so that way I can show it off. And focus a little bit. So, what happens is there is an invisible wall around this. So you can't just, like, jump. However, you can jump twice without having... Or you can dash twice, sorry. Without having your without losing any height or anything like that. So what you can do is if you set yourself up right about here, you can dash right around the invisible wall and getting yourself into the next platform, and then you can do it again over there to clear this section. Now, if you're struggling with it, and this is the preferred method that you're using, you can run back over to this area and grab a checkpoint. Now, I'm not going to be doing that because it will reset the checkpoint to a spot where I don't want it, so we're just going to go ahead and show the other version. So the other version, how it'll start is the moment you can, when you hit that first checkpoint in the bridge, is to change your costume. And then while you're changing your costume, look at the area way that I'm holding my control stick, because you want to do that. Okay, and I'm going to show it again. So I'm holding my control sticks at about this angle, and then I'm mashing jump. Okay, so that way the moment the loading screen is over while I'm falling, I can still start jumping. And then you want to jump and dashing blast onto the gunship. So, dash and blast onto the gunship, come over here, dash and blast onto this gunship. This gunship is going to carry you across. Now, you're going to see those wires there. You need to make sure that you jump over these, otherwise they will knock you off. And then, you can just dash and blast over. Once you see the checkpoint here, you can just switch your costume again, and then you'll be all set for the boss fight. That trick is going to take some time to practice. I know I kind of showed it really fast there, and I wish I could kind of slow it down for you, but that trick does happen in such a fast succession that it can be really, really difficult to try and slow it down to explain everything. If you're having any issues with it, watch with the input display, focus on what my inputs are. If you're having trouble hitting the checkpoint, you want to make sure that's the trickiest part of the trick, I believe, is getting onto the first gunship and then hitting the checkpoint. Because you have to time your jump and your dash to get over the invisible wall and hit the checkpoint. But if you go too early, you won't hit the checkpoint. If you go too late, you'll fall into the void and die. Or you just won't be able to get over the invisible. Or you'll just die if you go too late. So practice this trick a lot. It will save. It's one of the hardest skips, as well as is one of the most. Honestly, it's one of my most favorite skips to pull off. But what I recommend is practicing this level. I recommend doing the gunship strat because it is easier, in my opinion, than dashing around the invisible wall. But do it as most preferenced, as well as because of the loader mover time. It is faster to do the gunship strat than it is to dash around the invisible wall. So with that, we're going to move into the boss fight. The boss fight's pretty simple. He's going to be starting off with this series where he's going to be shooting at you. If you just run around in a circle like this, he won't hardly do any damage to you because he can't lock onto you. And then you're right here, right where you need to be able to throw your lightsabers right off the bat. And then it's, again, just using your force grip, throwing everything at him, and then reflecting. There's no real way to speed this up. So you're just going to do what you can to get through this quickly. The only real way to speed it up is to hit him with missiles faster, which can be really, really hard to do, so don't be too upset if you have a really bad fight here. See, like there, you can't really aim those rockets. So you can see I missed 2 throws, which ended up being a little rough. But that'll happen. Don't worry about it too much. So now we're pretty much through the entirety of this level. All we have left to do is to go through the elevator section. Hold forward here so that way you fall faster. And then if you time it right, you can dash and blast through it. If not, just force push. Only saves like half a second. Or if you dash and blast, that can happen, which is pretty entertaining. Not that it really matters, because you still have to wait for this elevator to go all the way down before it will start going up. But while you're riding the elevator, just do singular double jumps. This will help you hit the trigger as quickly as possible to start the next level. And that's it for the Western Arc. It's pretty simple, but also pretty difficult. So take some time to practice it. I hope it works out for you guys, and I will see you all in the next level.